Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'm just going to talk about making my own lures, and I'll first get into the reasoning why I did this. I recently got into spinning, a form of fishing where you use some light gear and some lures to catch fish. My main target was to try and catch some sea bass. And so through recommendations, I bought a few of the Savage Gear Seekers, the Seeker ISP. As you can see here, this one is a 23 gram variant. And I did have a lot of the 28 gram variants, but I managed to lose most of them. And that's because when I was casting, unfortunately, I would get snagged up and lose some of these lures. There was even a time where we cast this and it cast directly into a rock and it completely smashed it to pieces. You see the connection loop here was completely removed after it impacted the rock. And instead of constantly going back to the shop and buying more of these, I thought I'd try and make my own, or make something that resembles this anyway. So this is what we came up with, and I'll explain to you how I made this for almost free in a minute. Now, it was only free for me because I had some of the parts laying around, and also I had some of the equipment and stuff I needed to make it, but I'll show you exactly what I did. And I'll give you a quick demo of how this performs, showing you what happened when I took this out to sea. Now, as you can see already, it's made from a spoon. As you can see there, there's the stainless steel stamp there. And this is how the spoon came when it was actually still a spoon. Now, as I said, the point of me doing this was to try and save money. One of the problems I had with the ISP Seekers is that I believe they were made of lead, or they're kind of soft so you can bend them quite easily. And I know a lot of people are going to say to me, if you're casting them that hard into hard objects and abusing them that much, then you really shouldn't be fishing, which is kind of true. But I believe there is a learning curve to things like this, and I'm not going to be good at it as soon as I start. So in order to make my learning curve slightly less aggressive, what I did was use stainless steel to make one of these in which I can get some practice in. So all I did to remove the head of this spoon was twist it that way with my hands and twist it back. I did this a few times until it finally snapped. Then I took the handle portion of this spoon and I started sanding down the head. Now, if you don't have any sandpaper or sanding belt or even a Dremel to hand, what you could do is just use a rock or a brick. Drag this along it until it has no sharp edges. And finally, you're going to need a drill. I used a cordless drill with a drill bit designed for metal, and I just drilled a small hole in the top and the bottom there. I then used the same drill bit to drill 3 recesses on each side. One recess here, one here, and one here. And on the other side, I did the same. On the front portion of this, I also drilled a recess there and a recess there. I then took some nail polish from my wife and just gave it a quick blob in there. And also there. Now, I would have bought my own nail polish, but I didn't really want to do that because everyone would think I'm kind of weird. And secondly, if I take it from my wife, it's free. I also had some glow powder that was left over from some older projects I did, and I just put the glue in there, in the recess and there, and then dropped one drop of super glue in each recess. As you can see, the glue didn't hold up very well because it's already fallen out there. Now, if you don't have any glow powder, you don't have to do this part. It's absolutely up to you, but I thought I'd put it in there simply because I'm going to be using this at night and it would help me cast without ripping my ears off, as I would know exactly where the lure is. I then took some of the glow powder, also known as strontium, I believe, and mixed it in with a 2-part epoxy mix. I then used the epoxy strontium mix and then just dabbed them over the top here, all over here. Dab, 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 dab. So if I give this a little bit of a charge, it should glow up now. And that glow actually lasts a good few minutes. I then drew some patterns on here just to simulate some scales or some 3D look to it, but you really don't have to do that. I also had a little, what looks like a pearl toy from my daughter's toy set, and I put it in the recess there to simulate eyes and dabbed a bit of epoxy in there, and I did the same with the other side. As you can see, the glue's still there. And that's how I simulated this. I then took the single hook from one of these packs and the connecting keyring loop and put it on the rear there. As you can see, it's actually got 2 of them in there. So if you need some of these, you could probably buy some online or maybe get them off some old key rings or something. It's important that you get the ones that actually loop round and not the ones that just connect by force like that. As you can see, if I try and focus in, it's one of these. This one's actually bent out of shape. When you drill these holes, I really recommend you drill them quite close to the edge, if you're using a stainless steel spoon, of course, because these will have an easier time of looping in. I then bent the spoon slightly in this shape. As you can see, it's got a very gentle kind of wave to it. After doing that, I put this in a sink full of water and I pulled it along with a piece of line. And what I could see was that it liked doing this kind of motion in the water. When it's on the surface and you're pulling it fast, it'll always go like this. And when it's kind of underneath, it'll kind of have this kind of weird motion to it, which I think simulates a fish swimming quite well. But that's enough talk for now. Let's go try this and see how it works. Well, I've already tried it, but here's the footage of when I tried it. So as you can see here, it's almost completely pitch black. My camera has a very sensitive light sensor, so it kind of looks like there's a lot more light involved. Now, as you can see, the lure is not charged, so that is also lightless, shall I say, or completely just shimmering in the dark. There's no glow at all. But I cast out literally for 3 seconds, and within winding in a couple of turns, something's already taken the bite, and I'm bringing it in here. And as you guys are about to see, it's a pretty fat mackerel, which, you know, oh, don't worry about the background noise. I can't edit that out. It's some thumping, I'm sorry. But yeah, there's the mackerel for you guys to see. And another mackerel taken slightly later in the day. So as you can see, it does work for mackerel. I was kind of going for bass at the time, but I guess no bass was in the area, or I wasn't lucky enough to get one. But it does work. And if those of you are wondering, was it maybe the glow powder or anything? I don't think it was, because the times I charged up, not much went for it. And some of the times where this was completely not charged, a lot of things were trying to bite it. So I do believe it's the motion, the sound, the jingling that attracts the fish, and the way that it makes kind of vibrations in the water really helped as well. So if you want to have a closer look, that's the curve there. There's a front bend there and a gentle gradient in the back as well. I've brought this up slightly higher. So you're probably wondering what I did with the head of the spoon. As you can see here, it kind of looks kind of like a fish. These were just, if you were wondering where it is, my daughter had a nail painting set, and it came with these little glitter flakes, which in a certain direction looks purple and in another direction looks green, and it shimmers in the light. But that came with a set, and I kind of borrowed that. Unfortunately, she's not going to get it back, so that was for free as well. And again, I used epoxy mix in here, and a 2-part epoxy mix, and I just sprinkled these in there, drew a little eye on there. This is a little heart-shaped bead from her nail painting set as well, which I kind of epoxied in there. Again, I drilled a hole in the front. That's a bit too far back. I should have drilled a hole a bit forward. I might have to drill another one there. This one hasn't been tested yet, so I do not know if it's going to be successful. I don't think anything's going to reject trying to bite this if this is going along. I have tried it in a sink, or shall I say a really large basin, and again I'm using one of the single hooks that came free with the Savage Gear Seeker pack, and the looping hoop that came with that on the back. It kind of has the same thing. These kind of simulate a scale and a rainbowy type color for a greenish type fish. And I've also drilled the recess there for the eye, but I haven't stuck anything in that. Now, I did try pulling this along in a sink full of water, and it kind of does this. It likes to flip that way a lot. It kind of comes back down, and then after a while, for some reason, it'll just go mad and really do a somersault like this, a 360, and kind of flip up and down. So that's quite fun to watch. So I'm excited to see if this is going to get anything, but I haven't actually tried that yet. So we'll have to see how that goes in another video. But yeah, as you can see, this was quite a success. It was mackerel that I caught, and the free fish that I got are going to be a lovely dinner for us. But the main pros of this would be it's very cheap to do, and it's made from stainless steel. So I've been actually slamming this into stones and really abusing this. As you can see, the fish scales were actually drawn on properly all over, but that is completely rubbed off now. There's a lot more scuff marks on it. And on this side, I did draw a pattern on here. There was a white marker that had white pen. I did some jaggly lines there, and the marker did some black lines there as well, but that is completely worn off, and the eye seemed to have cracked there as well from probably launching it too hard into something very hard. But the fish love this. They were attacking it like crazy. That is mackerel, of course. I have not caught any bass, as I said, But if you want to try making your own lures and doing stuff like this is the first time I've done it, and I had loads of fun making it. The most exciting part would be after you've made it, wondering if fish actually would be attracted to it. So this one was a success, so I can recommend this. It saves you a lot of money and it's lots of fun. Plus this one is made of stainless steel, and knowing how I abuse certain things, should last a long time and it's going to be very fun to use. So thank you very much for watching today's video. I hope it helped someone out there. And I guess I make more of these videos later and hopefully you'll enjoy them. Thank you very much and I'll see you later.